What's up, guys? Steve, we're sketching things. Hey, maybe a little different view, maybe a more down view. Gonna try and do better and show more of the knives. I get that a lot. I don't actually show the knives that much when I'm talking about them. And I always say I'm gonna do comparisons, and then I always kind of blow them off or forget about them. But I'm carrying the Dwyer BBN-L today, and I thought, yeah, I've always talked about comparing it to a Strider SMF. So I've got a Performance SMF all tie and a Dwyer BBN-L all tie. So let's go over the history a little bit. Take this with a grain of salt. It's what I've found through research and reading. And so we know Dwayne Dwyer and Mick Strider were partners at once, right? And they ran Strider knives, or Strider, I can't even remember. Was it Strider Incorporated? I don't know. Strider International? Hell, I don't know. So they did, and if I'm wrong, correct me in the comments, but hold on, dogs. All right, dogs being okay. So while doing Strider knives, they had like a production line, right? They had production, and then they each did their own customs, from what I gather. And I've seen, and I don't know the time frame, I'm trying to find that, but like, I think it was during that time at Strider Knives when they were partners that Dwayne also put out, there were Dwyer SMFs. There was a Strider SMF and then like a Strider SMF that was a Dwyer. Does that make sense? You see them pop up for sale in groups, and basically, I mean, they're hard to tell. It's an SMF, and then it'll have his name on the blade instead of Mick's, but it's still, I think they still had I think he was using the Strider logo then. I've never seen one in person. Like I said, I've only seen them pop up for sale, and honestly, like, unless you know what you're looking at, it would look like a Strider SMF, which it is a Strider SMF, but it's a Dwyer SMF. And then they split, right? They decide to kind of go do their own things. So Mick goes off and has Mick Strider knives and Mick Strider custom knives, and Dwyer goes off and has Dwyer custom goods. So now you have these two, right? And this is, I think all of Dwyer's are customs, or at least they all, because they're all kind of one-off, right? He'll make a bunch for shows. You can go to his site and order it and wait, I don't know how long to actually get it. I picked this one up from Beck, I don't know, 2 years ago, and I got this one last fall. Yeah, so they each kind of do their own thing now, and I think maybe that's when Dwyer went from making like an SMF knife to making his version of an SMF, which is the BBN. And then there's the BBN-L, which is large, the BBN medium, which would be about the size of an SNG, and I think he makes a PT size too, but I'm not 100% sure on that. I've messed around on his site, because honestly I would love to pick up a BBN-M, but he doesn't have the greatest reputation sometimes. I think he might be getting better. Like, this knife was gone for months and months and months and months for a warranty issue with zero contact, and then I started kind of hounding him, and I got it back, and I know other guys aren't as lucky. I don't want to get into that. We're just talking about the knives and the differences in the knives. You can kind of see, I mean, they're very similar but very different. So like I said, they both made an SMF. Mick still makes the SMF, and now Dwayne makes the BBN. And you can see they're very similar but different, just in handle alone. You know, the traditional Strider handle that they use on the SMF, SNG, PT. It's a very unique, like, when you see it, you know that's a Strider, right? Very ergonomic. And Dwayne's is similar, but more round, like where the Strider is flat at the back. You can see how Dwayne's is rounded off. And the Strider, gosh, they're the same size, but the SMF is bigger, if that makes sense. I mean, you can tell just how much more real estate there is on this scale than on the Dwyer. And most of his scales I've seen are done like this with this milling right here. So it looks thinner, but it's actually the same thickness. It's just milled here. So, and then the blade, Dwayne does a bunch of different grinds too. This is his chisel grind Tanto. But they are, I mean, similar in size, but the Dwyer is, it's just got a skinnier handle. The scales are just, I'm not gonna get out, I don't have calipers to measure, I'm not gonna measure. You can visually see, and you can tell when you hold one that there's a difference. And I like them both, guys. I think they're both ergonomically amazing. They feel great in hand. Some of the most comfortable knives I think you'll ever lay your hands on. And I'm just kind of doing this. This is, I think I'll call this like versus, but I just kind of wanted to get them up close and show so people could kind of see the differences. Like I said, I'm no expert. Same pocket clip. I mean, they are so similar. Like Dwayne has just taken the SMF and rounded the handle, rounded the end of the scale. So you can see that there. You know, Strider has a production line too, which you can get like an aluminum or a G10 scale. Then their performance, and then their custom. Dwyer, I think they're all custom. Like I said, all custom. I've seen carbon fiber. He does a lot of stuff with brakes, rotors, and he uses a lot of interesting stuff for his scales. This one's in CD1. This is in CPM 154. They both use a variety of steels. What I've noticed on the Dwyer, and it's a stiffer knife, and I don't know, because really the construction is the same, right? Same pivot, like that's a Strider pivot. Hold on here. You know, Mick uses that on his. They use these on customs and his performance series. One less screw. Mick on the SMF, you get 4. You get 3. Every Strider I have ever handled is just amazing action. Once they break in, they are, I mean, smooth as butter. They're just, and if you've handled one, you know, like they just break in nice, and they are just effortless to flick out, to roll out. And Beck, when I was talking with him, he said Dwayne runs his knife stiff. He likes a stiffer action, and this thing is way stiffer. And I've had, like I said, I've had this almost 2 years. It was gone for like 8 months, I think. But, you know, I can still flick it out, finger flick it, thumb flick it. I don't know if he just makes the, you know, like I said, not an expert here, because I've had both of these apart, same construction on the inside, same phosphor bronze washers. And it doesn't matter that this one's like all polished, you know. Oops, that was a bad one. SNG on G10, still smooth. Custom double gunner grip SMF. It's just this, the Striders, they just all feel the same. That's why I'd like to get my hands on another Dwyer. Maybe I'll pick one up used. I don't think I'll buy directly from him. Just like I said, just because. Maybe I will someday, who knows? But I don't think I want to put an order in for a $1,500 knife and get it in 2 years, 3 years. But I think his lock bar pressure is he sets his lock bar tighter, and I don't know how that's done. Like I said, oh God, they feel pretty similar. I don't know. maybe the Strider's a little lighter. But like I said, not an expert. These aren't facts. I'm just kind of showing you. But the Dwyer is definitely a lot stiffer of a knife. I can say like Strider's PVD, what do they use on their coated blades? I've got one upstairs. Holds up a lot better. On the ticket, Beck gave me the sales receipt for this, and he calls it like a mil-spec coating. I can't remember exactly. I don't know where the receipt is now, but he calls it like a mil-spec coating. You can see it shows where all my black coated SNG or monkey edge knives I've had before don't show that quickly, and it doesn't bother me. Like, they're users, they're gonna get somewhere. But two great knives in their own right. I don't think you can go wrong with. I'm more a fan of Strider. Maybe that's just because I have more. You know, Dwyer's not as big of a name, I don't think, as Strider anymore. Even though he goes to all the shows, I mean, he's cranking out knives. If you follow him on Instagram, you know, as it's getting close to showtime, he's always got a bunch of stuff for sale. And like I said, other than it taking forever on my warranty, I don't have any complaints with the knife at all. And actually, you know, like I said, every time I would email him, even though it took 8 months, whenever I would email him, I would get an emailed response. Maybe he had some issues in the past. I know he told me that he was, you know, trying to hire some more people in the office, so it would free him up for knives and warranty work and to get stuff out faster. But like, really, I don't have a complaint because I've had knives gone as long for some custom stuff. So like, I think just knowing if you're going to send a knife off for warranty or customization, it's going to take a while. It's all about communication. But there you go. Very similar. Very cool that they've have their own takes on a classic design that I think is going to stick around for a long, long time, because these guys were making knives for a long, long time. And it's funny, like, I went back, I was watching some old videos. God, they were like 11 years old or something like that on YouTube. I think it was Monkey Edge. They were interviewing Dwayne when Dwayne was still a part of Strider, when they were all still together, and Dwayne had mentioned an automatic knife that they had in the process for the military. I have never seen an automatic SMF, so maybe you guys, like I said, it was an old, like 10 or 11-year-old video, an interview Monkey Edge was doing with Dwayne at a show, and he just kind of mentions the automatic briefly, and I think for the military, maybe they're out there, but I have never seen a picture. So wouldn't that be kind of cool? Like, I'm not a huge fan of autos, but just as a piece of like Strider history, if there's any of those floating around, maybe they never got made. Maybe it was a thought and then it never came to fruition. But yeah, this isn't really a versus video. I just kind of wanted to give, like, you've seen them in videos together before mine, but I just kind of want to do a dedicated video, just kind of so you could see the knives close up together. I mean, the SMF looks huge compared to it, but they feel identical in hand. I do like that little rounded off portion. It doesn't hit India, but I'm not complaining about Strider ergos at all. So I think they're both exceptional knives. And that's all I got for you guys. Thanks for watching. I will talk to you later. Bye.